Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. So today we have got a sentence cast on the cards. Remember those cards that I said that are taped up above my desk? Those are the cards that are saying that it's a sentence cast today. I don't think I've revisited sentence ever since my very first cast. And this one is going to be a special one because this is going to be the first quote unquote endurance cast that I have ever done on this channel. So I would grab yourself a coffee, grab yourself a beer, grab yourself whatever your libation is, and strap in, ladies and gentlemen, because this one is going to be a long one. So let's go ahead and introduce our players. We're going to call team 2 down here at the bottom and team 1 up here at the top so that we can mirror our Supreme Scoreboard overlay, and we will introduce the front player first. We have Synergy. Wow, that actually works pretty well. Synergy. We'll call him Synergy. He's going UEF gone first land, already out to the middle. The Cliffs player is going to be Milo. He's going Cybran, first land, second air. Got engineers on a reclaim in the rear guard air position. We have Lieutenant Poneface, and if you look at his clan tag up here in the upper right, it looks like we have Captain Lieutenant Poneface from the clan tag, which is going to be a joy to say most of this cast. On the beach position, we have Nancy Boy K. He is going Cybran, gone first air, bringing his air factory with P-Gens, got engineers out, capturing the all-important mexes. And let us shift ourselves to team number 1, starting with the front player once again, already on his way out to the middle. We have Permutation playing UEF. He has dropped an land factory, going some T1 power generators, got engineers running all over the place, grabbing reclaim and mass extraction points. Shifting to the Cliffs, trying to follow the same order as before. Unable to find the actual comm. Nope, there he is. Never mind. It's Arand. Arand is playing Seraphim. He has gone first air, going second air as well. So air all day from the Cliffs player on team number 1. Going to the rear guard air position, we have Fart. And if you look at his clan tag, it looks like he's Old Fart. All right, so he's obviously been around for a little bit of time. Not sure if that's a play on words of some sort, but we'll call him Old Fart for the duration of the cast. And last but not least, we have Excelsior playing Cybran. He is on the beach position, going first land, second air, got engineers out, the whole 9 yards. So if you guys have seen any of my ladder matches, I have a little bit of a bone to pick with Excelsior. Not because he's an asshole by any stretch, but he is a very good 1v1 ladder player. In the middle, we already have action keying off. We have Permutation prioritizing reclaim. Synergy is prioritizing the Salem Rex. So I've heard rumors that prioritizing the Loyalist / Pillar Rex here in the middle is going to be better for your overall mass game and mass overflow than prioritizing the Salems, but it's pretty standard that we see comms kind of swap sides, so Permutation playing closer to the southern side, and then we have Synergy playing more towards the northern side. So answers in the comments below. I believe it is more mass efficient to grab the Loyalists and Pillar Rex. I think they're Pillar Rex at least, instead of the Salem Rex. Although it is 100% more efficient to grab the Salem Rex if your opponent just does nothing and just shoots at you. So both players will go to work on, well, Permutation did go to work on a second. It looks like he decided to mop up an engineer that was actually putting together a T1 PD. So good idea to put down a T1 PD whenever you're playing mid in Sentence. Playing Sentence honestly scares the shit out of me. Like I play ladder. I play ladder a lot, but playing custom games of any sort, especially Sentence, just that shit scares me. It's a different kind of game. So we have Milo already out here on his side island, putting together a T1 land factory, 3 engineers, so rushing his T1 expansion. And then Arand, similarly, right behind him with, looks like 4 engineers. So waiting a little bit to have a little bit more engineering capacity to drop on that side island. And these guys in the middle are still going to be going at it with each other. You can look at reclaim still available in the middle. It still looks like there's a good amount of reclaim in the middle. I didn't realize there was all this reclaim back here. Whenever next time I play Settings, I'm going to try and do a better job of reclaiming the stuff that's all the way back here, because I thought it was literally all in the middle. But permutation looking a little bit peaky there at 5,000, coming up on 6,000 HP. So just under 50%, while his opponent Synergy is looking very healthy at full HP there. So Synergy living life on the edge there. Not really, or no, I'm sorry, Permutation living life on the edge there. So, and taking some Lobo fire while he's at it. And as the game kicks off, we've got interceptors for Arand over the southern pond. Excelsior looking to get into the naval game relatively quickly. The first naval factory of the game, I believe. Yeah, Excelsior first in the water with the first naval factory. In the middle, we have Permutation looking to duck into the water to evade Synergy's comm. Synergy's comm under able to have relatively quick assistance from T1 lane spam, and he will be the beneficiary of additional reclaim that should normally be permutations, as he has to duck into the water to avoid getting overwhelmed earlier on in the game. While everybody is sitting back and ecoing a little bit, we do have Milo already on a T2 upgrade on his comm, being assisted by an engineer as well. Put his air factory on pause, got a couple of T2 power generators on queue after that, looking to ensure his energy independent future, as America should have done a long time ago, but I digress wildly. Man, already upgrading T1 mass extractors to T2 out here on the island. This dude is on the eco game. Speaking of eco, these boys in lockstep. So notching up to 57k and then 58k almost in sync. It's like these guys have the exact same players playing for them, even though they are actually 2 separate players. So Synergy looking to capitalize on the fact that his opponent's comm is heavily damaged and hiding in the water. Going to be pushing against some T1 spam before he thinks a little bit better of it and decides to pull back. We have Permutation in the water here on a T2 upgrade, undoubtedly to recover a little bit of that damage that Permutation has inflicted on his commander. Additional upgrades worthy to speak of. We have Arand, the Mirror Cliffs player, to Milo, going for T2. He is gone for, first and second land. Going for another air transport, actually. Only just now getting his first T1 naval factory put together. And his opponent, Nancy Boy, is going for T2, spamming out Zeus's right now. Going for no naval coverage right now. It's worthy to speak of the ratings and the balance between these two teams. They're very close, so it's 94%. If I hover over this, the Forged Alliance Forever client deems over 90% to be good balance, under 90% to be poor balance. I think that's a little bit strict. I think you can still get damn good games under 90%. I've been a part of some damn good games under 90%, but that is what the software tells us a quote-unquote balanced game is. So we have got an over 90% balance here at 94%, with Nancy Boy being kind of the ringer for his team at 1500, so as Guile would say, pro status. And he is mirrored against Arand, who is a 1400 level player, so just a cut underneath. Then we have Excelsior, the quote-unquote pro level status for team number 1, mirrored up against Milo. So both of the 1,500 players playing the beach position with, at least as far as the rating goes, weaker players playing the cliffs position, which makes sense. The cliffs position does have access to a couple more mass extractors than the beach position does. And so we will see how these pro level players are able to use their particular positions. We do have some T1 frigates getting thrown off from Excelsior up in the northern pond. Going for a T3 rush, though, for Nancy Boy. So not even dipping his toe in the water. He must have seen Jaws recently. Decided that that beach is dangerous. He doesn't want to set foot in that water. He would much rather play the air game and back up his air player than ever set foot near the sea. Scouting missions going off from Excelsior, so should get a relatively good read on what the opposing Cliffs player is actually doing, as he spaces out these air scouts relatively well, and yeah, does a very good job of getting a read on not only the overall mass extraction point level, but also how many naval factories he is going to have to contend with in this game. Iran looking for a drop of some sort. Looks like Zui's, I believe, on that. I'm still adjusting to the icons. Yes, I believe those are Zui's. I believe I said in a former ladder game, I'm a newly converted member to the Glasses clan. So I've gone 26 years without glasses, and yep, those are all Zui's. I was right. They will unfortunately meet a series of Mantis that, well, the Mantis target the air transport initially, but that T2 mass extraction point is going to go down, baby, down. But the Mantis should be able to mop up the rest of these guys. Wow, and engineers. Johnny on the spot with the reclaim. And Shivneys? Cinevize? I don't know how to pronounce the T1 attack bomber from the Seraphim coming in over the top. So Iran with multiple attack waves inbound. Gonna set up a tracer as well to deal with any additional T1 bomber spam. But as I was saying, you guys got to cut me a little bit of slack because I'm 26 and I've never needed glasses before in my life. And my wife, being a nurse, she has very good health insurance from the U.S. As far as the U.S. is concerned, at least, yes, we have very good health insurance. And so she had me go get an eye exam. Turns out I'm basically blind. Well, not basically blind, not that dramatic, but my eyes could use a little bit of help. And so she made me get glasses. So I am not wearing glasses right now, and I apologize, but the Logitech headset that I have is a little bit restrictive as far as glasses go. It makes it very painful to wear glasses for over like an hour. And like I said, we're going to be strapped in for the long haul here, so got to think of my own well-being first. I apologize, but got to look out for number 1 to some extent. T3 Air is already accessed by Captain Lieutenant Poneface. That's right, Captain Lieutenant Poneface. Already up to T3 Air. Has spammed out a couple of wasps. What does the old fart look like he is doing? So he is a couple of steps behind, but does have Geminis out. Not to a point where, wow, he actually has a couple more Geminis out than I thought he would have. Not to a point where it's dangerous yet from an air control perspective, but he is a little bit behind as far as being able to produce T3 air factories as well as T3 power generators or the ion reactors for the Cybran. The fusion reactors, though, for Lieutenant Poneface, Captain Lieutenant Poneface, I'm sorry, sir, are alive and well. He's even working on T3 mass extraction points. So he's obviously watched a Brinko Insanity video and realized that it is more efficient to recycle T2 mass extraction points if you control K them and recycle them. I think it's if you have more than 4 T3 engineers, it's more efficient. I don't have the actions per minute to do that, so I think it's supposedly more efficient, but man, I have no idea if that's actually the case. But either way, T3 is out for both players. Both players are utilizing it to mitigate scouting runs from their opposing air player. And things have chilled out a little bit here. There's not a whole lot going on, even in the middle. You know, you would expect the middle to just be a cesspool of T2 artillery and tactical missile sniping and flak and strategic bombers and etc. Both of these guys playing it real cool and just looking to eco and looking to make sure nothing bad happens to either of their militaries, as they have significant militaries. Both these guys, though, are doing a great job of reclaiming every single tree. We do have our first semi-large naval engagement. Looks to be largely T1, both players Cybran. And man, a bunch of cormorants coming over the top. So Excelsior could have the advantage here. I don't see any sirens as of yet. We have one siren back here, but not yet in range of the cormorants. So cormorants, though, under that much AA fire, not going to be able to do a whole hell of a lot. Either way, though, enough to tip the balance, enough for Milo to think that it is, or Mellow? Call him Mellow. He's a mellow guy, playing in mellow yellow, as Kyle would say. Enough to make Mellow think enough to back up for a second. Obviously called in some assistance from the air player, though, so Old Fart has positioned Geminis over Excelsior's fleet to some extent, but Salem's are moving forward to batter these Trident class frigates at range. Looks like there was a little bit of a pause. My apologies, guys. But these torpedo bombers are going to make a run on these Salem's. Looks like they will be able to pick off one. Almost pick off one. There should be a siren, though, in this mix. Yep, there he is. They do pick off one Salem, though, so we have 5 cormorants for 1 Salem. I should probably do a science video on what the torpedo bomber versus destroyer / cruiser yield is. And I'm sure that there is a number that's out there that's closely guarded by all of the pros. But I would like to do a science video just to see for myself. But once again, Mellow getting pushed back by the combined T1 / T2 forces for Excelsior. Meanwhile, next to nothing happening here down in the bottom pond. Actually, Synergy, or Synergy, I'm going to call him Synergy still, has actually dropped a T1 naval factory here. So instead of continuing to push permutation here in the middle, he's actually elected to go ahead and help the southern pond instead of taking out his mirror. But shifting focus once again here to the northern pond, similar entanglements being experienced by both Excelsior as well as Mellow. Excelsior, I don't think he has the numbers advantage. Mellow actually airlifting engineers here to the middle to not only set up T1 naval factories to increase the spam, but undoubtedly to grab some of this reclaim that is inevitably going to become a gigantic reclaim here in field here in the middle, or well, I mean middle is in middle of the forward base and middle of Excelsior's primary base. No Aeon in this game. Surprising not to see any Aeon, but that is sometimes the way of things. As the Mandalorians would say, this is the way. Excelsior, though, deploying engineers in a semi-suicide mission to grab what little reclaim they can. Mello repositioning his forces once again. We have lots of T1 factories being queued up by Excelsior here. In the upper bay. And from an eco perspective, the gap has widened. I said these guys were in lockstep before. They are no longer. The step has been broken. Team 2 is almost 20k ahead of Team 1. Actually more like 16 to 17k ahead of Team 1. As a new engagement breaks out between the Tritons, the Salems, and the Sirens of both teams. Numbers looking like they belong to Mello. But there are a lot of units over here that have yet to be deployed for Excelsior. And here we go. So that's it. Lure him into a sense of false security and then slam him in the flank. Seems to be the strategy. He has repositioned his Salems in actually a really good position. Back behind these factories to deal long-range bombardment. On these frigates, and I believe that's all but one of the Salems. All but two of the Salems are down. Another Siren about to go down, and this is going to be a rout for Excelsior as he is able to defend the beach position against superior mass, superior numbers. Well done, sir. Undoubtedly due to the T3 sonar platform that he has. And this southern pond, man, let me tell you, there's just not a whole lot going on this southern pond. Rhonda's got some T1 and T2 units, but there's not a whole hell of a lot else going on. Looks like Nancy Boy is dropped a harm. Just really looking to make sure that his opponent doesn't really do any serious damage, but Mello up in the north is going at it again. The boys are at it again, ladies and gentlemen. And so we have got a lot of the perimeter T1 naval factories canceled from Excelsior, but he has a lot of destroyers up against mostly meat shield frigates. There are a handful of destroyers in here for Mello as well, but it looks like they are turning tail and running. Unfortunately, bad timing. It looks like a lot of these frigates are just going to be food for the destroyers as well as the superior numbers coming out from Excelsior. We do have torpedo bombers, some cormorants coming in over the top from the old fart himself. But in the middle, things have been very quiet. It looks like Synergy has advanced on his position. And meanwhile, Permutation has built out a couple of T2 shield gens, dropped a couple of buzz kills, some emplacements, including some triads, a couple of plasma cannons, you know, just really looking to build his home, make it his own. Doesn't need to deal with anybody else. Meanwhile, his teammate up here is fighting for his life. Do a quick destroyer count. So for Permutation, from a destroyer perspective, we have It's just not working. Alright, not sure why that's working. We're gonna go back to observer view and pretend that didn't happen. Meanwhile, in the southern pond, which has been very quiet, we do have Salem deployments from Nancy Boy. I think Iran could have been a little bit more aggressive in this position. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know shit about how to play Settings, so take literally anything I say, unless I am observing a fact in this game. Take anything I say with a grain of salt. Actually, let's just make that true for any video. Anything I say in any video ever, take it with a grain of salt, unless there's some kind of like present observation or statistic that can refute it. Meanwhile, in the middle, we have pillars tangling with titans. So permutation looking to make a little sally out from his stronghold, runs into Synergy's superior tech forces. Although numbers appear to be on permutation's side, Synergy decides to bow out on that particular engagement. Got 12 pillars of his own, 3 titans, but even still, not feeling super good about the engagement. He has decided, though, to shift his governors instead of helping out Nancy Boy, who I don't think Nancy Boy really needs help against the non-existent navy that's coming in from Iran. He's decided to use his cruisers to bombard permutation's position, which is definitely a good use of units. The fun continues, though, up here at the top, where Excelsior and Mellow really are just two kids in a candy shop. You know, they just love throwing navies at each other. I gotta say, though, Mello does not look like he is benefiting near as much from this reclaim as Excelsior. You can see these little bands of engineers, even engineers up here at the front, just sacrificing their lives out here for reclaim for Excelsior. So that seems to be the way that he is going to tip the scales against the superior count of mass extraction points for the Cliffs player. In the middle, though, this seems like it's going to be a problem. Synergy has got 3 governors going in on top of Permutation's position here. He does have enough triads to seemingly keep up with it. He's on a T3 upgrade right now. That T3 upgrade seems to be going mighty slow, sir. And he is not power stalling or mass stalling at all. I guess T3 is just a very slow upgrade. But Rond is dropping a series of torpedoes against the opposing forces. These 2 governors, though, well up to the task of dealing with the torpedo bomber every now and then. These guys covering their backs and watching each other six. We do, though, have ASFs providing cover from Captain and Lieutenant Poneface. And similarly, we have Geminis being mirrored up here for the old fart himself. There could be a little bit of an air engagement brewing here as Excelsior kind of pushes his opponent, Mellow Yellow, off of the beach. Man. There's a big old frigate meat shield in front of that boy's navy. I'm taking notes right now, to be honest with you, as far as like how I want to actually play navy, because anytime I play Sentence, I end up inevitably getting stuck in either the front position, in which I'm terrible, well, I might be better, or I'm getting stuck in the Cliffs position, in which people expect me to win navy. I don't know the first thing about playing navy. I just know you build ships, and then you right-click them on other ships. But Excelsior doing a fantastic job with fewer mass extraction points, overrunning this forward position from Mello. ASF's posturing here. Looks like the old fart got a relatively good engage on Captain Lieutenant Poneface's ASFs, but I think the captain himself had more ASFs than the old fart did. And even though there's a better firing position from the old fart, I believe this is going to be a win for Captain Lieutenant Poneface. I believe. I don't know, though. I mean, stealth isn't enabled here. That doesn't help. Never mind. Captain Lieutenant Poneface ends up getting his own face phone. Own face phoned? Own face pwned. And the old fart is able to mop up the air forces. Excelsior ends up continuing to steamroll after running over this forward position and is now the beneficiary of this entire mass field from the last 30 minutes or so. I want to do a little check-in on... I feel like Nancy has been really quiet. He has not produced very many naval units. He's got 3 battleships out right now, which is great. He's got some torpedo bombers out there, but I want to see, like, what is the overall goal? So it looks like it is all eco from Nancy Boy. I mean, that makes sense. He is 305. Only person that is topping him is going to be the air player with access to more mass extraction points. Old Fart goes in again with his ASFs. This time, though, he does not. I don't think he has a great position here. The Wasps are in a really good position to mop these boys up. Maybe? I don't know. I'm a terrible air player. Yeah, okay. That turn looked pretty good. So did that Gemini turn. War Wasps coming in. No new Geminis coming in. And that is going to be air dominance, such as it sits, going to the hand of Team 2. But Team 1, Team 1 has got problems. Or Team 1 is just steamrolled. They don't have problems. They're winning currently over Team 2 in this northern pond. You have Galaxy-class battleships coming out from Mello, but I think that's too little too late. Even Thunderhead's coming out. Oh, so Permutation is dropped in. Oh, Synergy ends up getting defeated by Permutation. My apologies, guys. A series of Percivals coming down the midpoint ends up mopping up Synergy, and Synergy's units end up getting transitioned over to Captain Lieutenant Poneface. And it seems like things are going a little bit differently in the southern pond as well. Looks like both Mello as well as Nancy / Captain Lieutenant Poneface have their backs up against the wall to some extent down here in the bottom pond. Interestingly, these mass points have been transferred over to Nancy Boy. Is Nancy Boy using these for something, or not yet? Just using these to continue to bolster his eco, but Mello has well and truly lost this top pond. And we have all of these mexes transferred over to Nancy Boy. So Mello just looking to cut his losses and really just transferred everything over to Nancy Boy. So mass extraction points, everything. Mello still retains control of his comm. It is a T3 comm, so he does have the ability to drop additional points elsewhere if needed. Iran, though, really doesn't have a whole lot of naval spam. And it's really just like battleship v battleship. here in the bottom pond. You have several Halthooms up against superior numbers of Galaxy class battleships. Arand is doing a relatively good job of microing his Halthooms to stay out of harm's way, but it seems like Nancy is doing just enough to keep control of the southern pond, but he doesn't want to win it just yet, which is an interesting strategy. I'm not sure what the overall plan is, but this dude is 1500, and the number speaks for itself. He's definitely way better than me. And I'm waiting to see like something come out from him, because he's on 453 mass per tick. He's got plus 381 going into his inventory. He's got mass to play with. Like, I don't know what he's using it for. Maybe these battleships? I don't know. But meanwhile, Excelsior has parked his battleships off of what was formerly Mello's base and is bombarding it to the ground. But that is Nancy's base now, and looks like we have another air engagement. So the old fart trying to deal with these Stork torpedo bombers, but it looks like Captain Lieutenant Poneface has superior air numbers from his Wasps versus the Gemini fighters for the old fart, and will be able to mop these up. So Stork's able to defend against the incoming pressure from Iran from Ithalua's T2 cruisers, as well as Halthooms, etc. These Galaxies just doing a series of long-range bombardments on the enemy base. T3 battleships succumbing to superior Halthoom fire in the middle. It would appear that Permutation has decided not to capitalize as much on this forward position, even though he does have the ability to just walk units over there, undoubtedly due to the inordinate amount of broadswords that Captain Lieutenant Poneface has deployed. And that could be dangerous. I'm not sure where those broadswords are going. They seem to be on a mission. Looks like they're zeroing in on Iran's base. So this could be bad. I don't know how many ASFs the old part has. Let's do a quick ASF check. So 59 to 96. Not good odds for the air player. T3 engineers go down. T3 anti-air defense overwhelmed. There are too many broadswords for them to deal with as they sweep inland. Iran's comm is right here. They go to work on the shield. Some of them hover underneath the shield generator. Lieutenant Poneface builds an experimental unit. We'll address that in a couple of seconds, but knocking down the T3 shield generator. Massive T3 air defense gets spammed up in response. T3 broadswords end up going in on the T3 factory HQ, looking to cripple production as much as possible as these Wasps deal with any air response. T3 power generator, another one going down to these broadswords, and a third to boot. Iran not in a good place from a power generation standpoint. Pings going down on the commander, and it looks like these broadswords are going to vector in on this comm. And there are T3 air defense available, but I don't think they're going to be enough. And that is Iran's ejection from the game from Captain Lieutenant Poneface. His units end up getting shared over to Excelsior. So Excelsior is going to be managing both this northern and this southern pond. Now to deal with whatever experimental unit Captain Lieutenant Poneface brought to bear. It looks like he has a satellite online. That satellite HQ is down here. He has another one on the way, almost 10%, over 10% of the way done with it. He's got an inordinate amount of mass at his disposal, and even still he is mass stalling by a negative 796. I'll never get used to seeing that on the as a ladder player. Saying negative 796 just blows my mind. But it is, of course, normal in games like this where each player is bringing in 300 plus mass per tick. We also have a Scathus under development, almost halfway done from Nancy Boy, which is pretty much where his mass has been going. Experimental unit developed by Excelsior. What has he been under? What has he been working on? Let's see if I can find where his experimental unit is at. Am I missing that experimental unit? Everybody's probably screaming at it. I would bet my cursor is right over it. I can't even see it. I do not know what experimental unit Excelsior has developed. But I'm sure it's something juicy and delicious. Oh, here it is. Never mind. Found it. Monkey Lord. Moving in on what is previously Mello's old base. Excelsior also dropping a series of SACU RAS presets on his opponent's island, dropping some Myrmidons down to shield against the critical mass of broadswords, and that's that second satellite up from Lieutenant Poneface. Captain Lieutenant Poneface. Man, he is going on and on and on. And Mello finally gets picked off. He was relatively out of the game anyway, but I believe that Monkey Lord ran into that commander and picked off Mello. So now it is a 2v3 permutation pushing down the middle. We have Nancy Boy putting together a Scathus. He is over 2/3 of the way done with it. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We have another Novax under construction for Captain Lieutenant Poneface. So the southern side of the map definitely going for experimentals. Starting to see that Novax take its toll. There are T2 shield generators queued up by the old fart to hopefully mitigate some of that damage, but the second one is on its way across the map, and a T2 shield gen ain't going to stand up to 2 Novax, sir. These broadswords do vector in on the Monkey Lord, and we'll be able to mop it up. As well as a series of Corsairs coming in from Nancy Boy, so really both players remaining on the southern team prioritizing air to some extent in their strategies. But Excelsior is well, first off, could do with taking over these mass points. I think that could those are kind of important. I don't know, maybe I'm a ladder player and like every mass point for me as a ladder player is like gold. And then whenever you're Excelsior netting 1.1k mass per tick, maybe you don't even think twice about the extra mass units that you could potentially gain. Another Monkey Lord up. Excuse me, I'm gonna go on mute for 1 second. All right, and we're back. Man, let me tell you, here in the early part of the year in Texas, there are a ton of cedar trees. They all turn orange, and orange basically means that they are pollinating, and that means that everybody dies in Texas, not from coronavirus, but it feels like coronavirus, even though it is not anything to do with coronavirus. So here comes the Scathus. Back to the game, instead of talking about allergies that we Texans feel. If you'd like to hear me complain about Texan allergies, tune into another video that I have yet to make, but I'll make it for sure at some point. So Scathus is online. Let's see where it ends up lining up to fire. Reloading right now. Never mind. Take a couple seconds. We got T1 engineers trying to spam up Ravagers and Triads to deal with not only the Monkey Lords that have been pushing down from Excelsior, but also the just Medusa spam that is coming down. Broadswords brought in to back them up as well. These broadswords should be able to hang on and stem the tide. Scathus unleashes its first volley across the map. Apologies if you guys can hear my phone vibrating. Actually, just checking the notification. It's a subscriber to the channel. Hello and welcome. And that's gonna be, oh baby, that's gonna hurt. Knocks out one T3 power generator. Scathus of Excelsior's own on the way. I don't know if that's gonna come to fruition, buddy. So we've got another volley on its way, but we do have a lot of Percivals from permutation here in the middle, escorted by some Skyboxers as well as some Cougars. So the T3 mobile anti-air. These broadswords are gonna do work depending on how Captain Lieutenant Poneface ends up using them. Man, it is all go, no quit in this game. I have not even had a chance to breathe. I have a beer here that I want to drink, and I just keep having to talk about stuff in this game because it's so action-packed. Can't even take a second to take a drink of my beer. Cruisers for Excelsior here in the bottom bay. So naval pressure not 100% given up by Team 1 here in the southern bay, but this Scathus is just absolutely annihilating Excelsior's base. His Scathus out of production. Saku presets on the way to the ocean. Novax over the top, and what a pounding. T3 Air HQ is still up, as well as a handful of T3 power generators that will still exist for the time being. But here comes the next volley, so I'm sure that nothing is going to survive in this base after that. Yep, that's about all she wrote. The rest of we have one lonely ion reactor that stands tall and proud, and as the reaction, Excelsior ends up going to a RAS upgrade. So losing almost all of his power grid, power stalling incredibly bad, decided to go to a RAS preset on his primary comm as well to try and keep as much power generation mobile as possible. Looks like he's also got some T3 power generators queued up down here, so I mean, he should be fine. He's still netting 32k power. He should be okay from a power generation standpoint. Just needs a little bit of chance to recover. But meanwhile, we have a lot of galaxies here from Nancy Boy. So after Nancy Boy put together this Scathus, meanwhile, well, Nancy Boy Scathus has got, okay, so Excelsior is understandably pissed off about the fact that this Scathus exists and is launching mass nuclear missiles against it. We have one strategic missile defense here. It doesn't look like it's loaded. Is there another one? In range. Don't see one. Okay, there is one. There's one that was loaded, but doesn't have a second one. So Excelsior is going to drop 3 nukes right on top of that Scathus head. That is going to be the end of the Scathus, and everybody on team number 1 breathes a sigh of relief because the next target was the old fart himself. Going back to, let's check up on ASF counts. We have 185 or 165, 185 ASFs for the old fart. We have 139 for Captain Lieutenant Poneface. So both of the air players fielding large air forces of their own. Captain Lieutenant Poneface, though, definitely having to shift some of his attention from ASF production to both gunship as well as T1 bomber production, as this initial position that we talked about earlier has been overrun by Medusas, as well as undoubtedly this Monkey Lord. So there is and there is a very large air engagement. It looks like Captain Lieutenant Poneface has got the advantage on this side, even though Old Fart has superior numbers. It looks like Captain Lieutenant Poneface has the better turn and is able to eliminate a lot of these ASFs before they even get a firing solution on his Air Force. So air superiority would appear to be remaining with Team 2. And he looks like he's going to make another pass here. Don't want to venture over those aircraft carriers, or nope, sorry, not aircraft carriers, just a bunch of sirens. Sirens, the Cybran T2 cruiser. All right, so lots of gunships getting dispatched from Captain Lieutenant Poneface. By lots, I mean 50. There are 50 gunships here getting dispatched to somewhere. Where are they going? Okay, these guys are going in for the kill. They're moving in for the old fart himself. Try to get him out of the game. We have a strat bomb run on Captain Lieutenant Poneface's base, though. Quick to react, though, with his ASFs. Shield is not going to go down. But the bigger issue is these Medusas. There are 2 Ravagers back here. Another one up here. Ravagers obviously not ideal as far as dealing with T1 units. Although, I don't know. Now that I say that, I'm not sure what I would classify as point defense ideal with dealing with T1 units. But these broadswords are going in over the top, taking out a battleship on their way. I don't know if the old fart is... Okay, so the old fart is pulling his ASFs to respond. I'm going to get a hell of a lot of engineer kills here. That's some civilian carnage right there. ASFs are redirected? The ASFs are redirected against those broadswords? Okay. And there's still some T3AA in the middle. But these gunships are just pretty much destroying everything that's in their way. T3 power generators. There are Myrmidons here for AA, but I mean, again, like there's 50 of them. How many are left? Let's check. There's 41 left. That's a lot. That's a lot of gunships left, and this is going to cause the old fart a hell of a problem as they burn through his shields, taking down literally all of them. That opens him up from the Novax, and there's about to be a hell of a chain reaction through his base as these T3 power generators go down, engineers go down. That's the HQ. That is Team 1's air player unable to produce ASFs unless he has a redundant HQ, which it does not look like he has. That is disastrous. These broadswords are going to focus on the secondary production and power grid. I don't know if these guys are going to have enough to get through. Come on, there's still 12 of them left. Yep, they're going to take out that power generator. Maximum chain reaction. Oh boy, that's ungood. That is ungood for team number 1. We have another Monkey Lord. This time though, for Nancy Boy, holding the northern flank for his air player. And that Monkey Lord is just looking at individual bad guys and lasering them into nothing. Meanwhile, Nancy Boy's been busy. He's got a whole flotilla of battleships here in the middle. In this little channel. We have a strategic launch out from... well, multiple strategic launches. Sorry. Okay, so we have a strategic launch out from Excelsior that is targeting Captain Lieutenant Poneface's base. And then Captain Lieutenant Poneface has got a nuke that's heading up here. So let's go ahead and look at... we got multiple... what the... I guess there were a lot of nukes in that? Okay, so nuke defense is effective there. This nuke is still alive, headed for Permutation's base. I am seeing the SMD literally die as the nuke is moving in. Is this his comm? That's his comm. That's a bad day for Permutation. It is literally dropped on his head. Ugh. Permutation is defeated by Captain Lieutenant Poneface, and that levels the game to 2 players apiece at 46, almost 47 minutes in. Another nuke or series of nukes, not sure, is launched by Excelsior. Is there another anti-nuke in the tube for Captain Lieutenant Poneface? Nuke bends down. Doesn't look like it. Captain Lieutenant Poneface is going to lose his base after all. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. That is yeah, that's not ideal. Losing your base at 47 minutes into the game. I can't say that's a good thing. No. So we got a couple breaks and Monkey Lords still holding the northern approach to the base. We do have 1 Novax left. Nancy has got like definite naval control. I don't know why I ever doubted him in the middle of the game. Whenever it seemed like he wasn't doing anything. But he's got a Monkey Lord which has 333 kills to his name. This dude is just like mowing them down. I feel like if you want to think about a time in history, this line is like, if you guys have ever seen 300, the movie 300, this line is like the movie 300. There's just like a never-ending stream of Medusas, and this Monkey Lord is just going to beat them down until he can't stand anymore. And that's when Gerard Butler charges Xerxes and cuts his lip and then dies. I'm sorry, spoilers. If you guys haven't seen the movie. I mean, but if you're a student of history, the Greeks don't win at Thermopylae, so that shouldn't be a surprise. Regardless, the old fart is looking to rebuild his power grid on top of the Rex to optimize the 50% mass savings. From a mass generated standpoint, though, Team 1 is well ahead by like 400,000 mass at 3.03 versus 2.62 million mass generated per tick. Although, as the numbers fluctuate, it would look like Team 2 is edging out Team 1 slightly in total mass generated. I don't know. It might be because Excelsior is just throwing like tons of Medusas against an experimental and bricks, all of which should be like 5-star vetted right now. Nancy Boy deploys a Soul Ripper. And man, like I said, non-stop action. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna take a sip. We have a strap bomber there. Hopefully it doesn't kill any comms while I'm taking a sip of my drink. Alright, we're still good. Nothing crazy has happened yet. Cougars open up on the Soul Ripper, but it should be able to mop these up in short order as long as it focuses them correctly, which it would appear that Nancy Boy is doing. There appear to be some skyboxers or some bangers in the mix. Yep, a couple of bangers down there. And the Soul Ripper is still dealing with some T3 mobile anti-air. Okay, so Lieutenant Poneface's ACU is there. Is this? I don't think that's Nancy Boy's ACU. Not sure where Nancy Boy's ACU is. I would assume it is also well hidden. But we also have Medusa Incursion over here. Being mopped up by a network of Cerberus turrets as well as bricks. So it's been a good strategy for you, Excelsior, but I don't think this is going to work out for you in the long haul. I mean, I say that with all humility, just because I wouldn't have even made it to this point playing the beach. Although I don't get how Settins players just like leave mass points unclaimed. I mean, again, I guess like if your primary mass is coming from SACUs, strategic launch coming out. Old Fart has been defeated by Lieutenant Poneface. What? I believe it is only because of the defense satellites. It's the only thing I can think of that would have caused that. There were no air units moving over. So Excelsior is now alone against the sea of enemies that is Nancy Boy and Lieutenant Poneface. We got bricks moving in. And this kind of critical mass of bricks and a Monkey Lord should be able to mop up this side against Mantis. They're trying to get a Monkey Lord put together. Okay, this is another nuke out from these Plan B strategic muscle submarines. Two going towards Nancy Boy's, where Nancy Boy used to have the Scathus, as well as this forward position, both of which will land. I don't think either nuke is going to do an inordinate amount of damage. They're both... I mean, the real problem here is not the handful of mass extractors or engineering stations. It's really this mass of bricks as well as this Monkey Lord. We have another strategic launch from Plan B's. How many? Okay, he has another one that's loaded. And I think that's it for Plan B. So he has another 2 nukes that he can throw. Well, one and then another one that he can throw. So this one is going towards... Okay, so there is an SMD for that. And that SMD is very well loaded. So should not try again for that one. Nancy Boy has established a very large beachhead beachhead on this southern beach, and is pushing a ton of Medusas in. So similar to what Excelsior is trying to do on this southern beachhead, he is going to be doing for the northern cliff player. Network of nukes. Lots of nukes getting thrown from... Oof. Not lots of nukes getting thrown from Nancy Boy. One going up to here, to this base. Another going to deal with Navy, it would be presuming. Yeah, so one going to Navy. It looks like another is going to drop towards the northern side of the Navy. All three of which will land. And that is a bad day for our boy that wants to go ever higher. How many more nukes are in here? One nuke in that one, 0 in that one, 0 in that one. So we got one more. We got one more nuke in a plan B down here. Where is... Okay, so that's a support SACU. Where is Excelsior's comm? Okay, so he's up here. So he's making a run for deep water. He said, nope, I'm out. Not interested. And we do have Medusa's pushing in addition to bricks. Is there a T3? Are there T3 production down here? There is not just a little bit of T3 production, but a metric shitload of T3 production down here. Cranking out bricks by the millions. This Cybran player does have straw at his disposal. He is not looking to make bricks without straw. Cerberus turrets are deployed. They will do fine against the Medusas, but will be hard pressed to eliminate this number of bricks, especially if a critical mass is presented. They lock in, take down the shield, point defense going down, engineering stations going down, energy going down. Excelsior begins to run out of options as Revenant strategic bombers go over the top to add bad to worse. Autoguns will not stand up against this number of bricks. We do have a good number of ASFs, well, a relatively good number of ASFs over the middle for Excelsior. And this is a last hurrah. He did mitigate this threat and is reclaiming that Monkey Lord. So a last attempt. Looks like all 4 nukes are going towards Nancy Boy's old base. 1. What the? Okay, 2. That definitely should have stopped them. All right, I think he had 4 counter nukes there, but 3 of them decided to do massive U-turns on the expressway instead of just going straight on and head-oning the other car. That takes out a good amount of Nancy Boy's eco. He's still on 523 mass per tick though. Got a lot of Saku presets. Lieutenant Pone faces calm down here in the bottom. Not really at any threat. You have a Salem that has become confused about what his purpose in life is and has decided to sprout legs and fire his guns at a T3 AA that doesn't seem to want to die ever. It wants to live. That's missing like almost half the time. So this Sam is repairing faster than the Salem can kill it, which is kind of sad. This Medusa break incursion, though, if you're like me, you'd like to think that an infection is just going to go away if you just don't really do anything with it. But unfortunately, Nancy Boy has decided that this infection of light blue or cyan units is not going to go away. And that he is here to stay. He will annihilate Excelsior's expansions as well as the old parts, old base. These bricks will lose an argument with a rather gradual hillside for a little bit. I do love the mechanics in this game. How units will just seemingly lose arguments to cliff sides. Another nuke out from this network of Plan Bs down here. None of the rest of which seem to be loaded. And a retaliatory nuke from Nancy Boy's Plan B. Did he scout out? Lieutenant Poneface is calm? Is that gonna be Lieutenant Poneface is down? Is Lieutenant Poneface gonna get pwned to the face? Oh! Lieutenant Poneface got pwned to the face. Meanwhile, another portion of Excelsior's base goes up in flames. So now it is a 1v1. Mano y mano. 1v1 versus from Excelsior versus Nancy Boy. We have a Cybran mirror matchup, both of which have a relatively large head start, considering both of which are T3 and have access to multiple factions worth of tech. I have to say though, I favor Nancy Boy's position in all of this. Excelsior's calm is still out to sea. Forgive the dad joke. There is a Monkey Lord that is looking to deal with the, well, actually, I mean, considering how many units there are, I don't know. He's not going to do it, as long as he's lasering a cliff. You know, laser a bunch of Medusas, though. We have another Novax out, so... Alright, so... Nancy Boy, inheriting the Novax satellites, and has SR-90 Blackbirds out over the sea, so should have a read on where Excelsior's comm is. This nuke going to deal with Excelsior's Plan B fleet here. I don't know if all of those Plan Bs are going to make it out. Actually, I question if any of them are going to make it out in time. This one almost loaded up. Actually, these guys might make it out. Yep, they're all going to make it out. Excellent. SR-90s, though, definitely got a read on where Excelsior's comm is, though, so I'm looking for any torpedo bombers. But yeah, he did a great job of saving all of these Plan Bs, a lot of which are mostly loaded. How hard is he power locking? Nope, he's mass stalling right now, actually. Alright, so these bricks starting to use their torpedoes. Starting to shoot at these Myrmidons. I'm genuinely curious about how this is going to go, because we've got Nancy Boy's comm over here in the ocean, and we have Excelsior's comm over here in the ocean. It is true, Nancy Boy controls like 80% of the landmass, But a strategic snipe from Excelsior could win the game. And I'm on the edge of my seat to see what is actually going to happen. So we have torpedo bombers out. Does Nancy Boy know where Excelsior is? I don't think he has a read on Excelsior's comm. Excelsior's comm is right here. Multiple nukes coming out once again from the network of Plan Bs. They will pick up. Okay, there's an SMD there, so that power grid is safe. But okay, so here's where the comm is. Does Nancy Boy know where it is? Nancy Boy does not have a read on Excelsior's comm. Nancy Boy is also burning mass like it's the 60s. Another nuke coming out. SMD is loaded once again. Could fire one more nuke though if he wants. Not sure if he has another one in the pipe. Does have another one in the pipe. So he could take out this power grid if he wants to. These SR-90s are trying to figure out where the comm is. It's right here. SR-90s are looking in this corner instead. So Excelsior doing a good job of kind of predicting where he thinks his opponent is going to go and punishing him accordingly. Similarly, though, he has no visibility on where Nancy Boy's comm is, though. SMD loaded literally in the nick of time on that one. There is a nuke, though, that's coming in. That's going to mop up all of the sirens. One of the Plan Bs bags up over here. Alright. ASF's coming in. Where's Excelsior's comm? Excelsior's comm is right here. So we've got ASFs coming in. Superior ASF's numbers. I think he knows. I think he knows now where the comm is. Oh no. He doesn't know where the comm is. He's just looking to back the Plan Bs. But the comm is right in among the Plan Bs. And these guys have sonar. Oh no. You can see his comm. Wait, can he? Oh no. This is a stealth comm. It can only be seen by... Can it? What the hell? Alright, I'm going to chalk this up to a bug. Because these torpedo bombers are obviously bombing it, so they can obviously see it. And these torpedo bombers have happened upon the comm for... Wow, that is a lot of tridents that are stacked up on top of each other. But these storks have happened upon Excelsior's comm. And that is going to be the end of this game as Excelsior capitulates to Nancy Boy. 1 hour and 5 minutes. God, that was a good game. Love watching these games. If you guys made it this far, if you guys are still with me after an hour and 5 minutes of Setton's madness, if you guys have a replay that you guys want me to cast, go ahead and send it my way. I will have the Discord, or my Discord handle, as well as the FAM Discord, which I am a moderator of. All the links down in the description down below. You guys can send me replay IDs. You can send me replay links. There are 2 requests that I have. That number 1, there be no desyncs in it, because let me tell you, if I go through an hour and 5 minutes of a replay and find that it desyncs, I will hunt you down. I will find you, and I will never ever cast one of your replays ever again. No, I'm kidding. But please don't have any desyncs in any replays that you submit to me. Secondly, don't send me any like 5-10 minute raffle stomps. Like there needs to be a relatively good amount of back and forth in the game. I don't care if it's a ladder match and the ladder match only lasts 15 minutes. Like I have a hell of a lot of fun casting those because they're ladder matches and I'm a ladder match player. So anyway, I will go ahead and stop talking at this point. You guys have been listening to me yammer for over an hour now, so I'm sure y'all are all tired of it. I'm tired of speaking. My throat is killing me. This is the longest amount of time that I've ever casted ever in my life before. Oh, man. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace.